Hi, and welcome to Note Reading 3. I hope you have already watched our Note Reading 1 and Note Reading 2 videos. We talked about the grand staff, the treble and bass clef, the notes on the staff, and reading intervals. In this video, I want to show you how to read larger intervals as well as how to read chords. Remember how we talked about our intervals in our video Note Reading 2? Intervals are distances between notes. We talked about the intervals of a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. Let's look at these again and notice how a second goes from a line note to a space note, or a space note to a line note. The interval of a fourth is also between line and space notes, just a little bit further apart. The third and the fifth intervals, on the other hand, go from a line to a line, or from a space to a space. Now, why would we pay attention to all this detail? Well, it makes reading notes easier, especially as the notes get farther apart, like in the following examples. There are 3 more intervals that are good to know: sixths, sevenths, and octaves. The sixth and octave, like the second and fourth, are between 2 different kinds of notes, line and space notes. The seventh is between 2 line notes or 2 space notes. As you can imagine, these are a little harder to read because the notes are farther apart, but you can see how it helps if you know whether the interval is between different kinds of notes, like a sixth or an octave, or between the same kind of notes, like a seventh. Of course, note reading takes practice, but I hope these tricks will help you learn it a bit faster. Here's another way to make note reading a bit easier. Let's learn some landmark notes. If you know a few notes really well and can read intervals, it gets you pretty far. Look here. These are 5 C notes. You really want to learn these well. Fs are also good to know, and so are the 4 G notes. Now, you can know that you play this note a third up from the C note, skipping 1 note in between. Or look here. A second down from the F in the bass clef is the E. If you play violin, it might be useful to know these 4 notes as well: G, D, A, and E, because these are the notes of your open strings. So you can see that learning different landmark notes for different instruments can be very useful. If you have a music teacher, ask him or her about this. Now, I want to show you 2 more things for note reading: reading chords and reviewing some special symbols. Chords are notes that are played together at the same time. It looks like this. Oh, that seems even harder. But if you have practiced to read intervals, these become easier to read. Look at this chord. This is a C note. Then up a third to E, and up another third to G. So you read your chords like stacked intervals. This chord goes up a third, and then up a fourth. Here is another chord. It goes up a fourth, and then up a third. Let's review our sharps, flats, and naturals. We'll look at these on a piano. You can see that there are black notes between the white notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here are the symbols, so we can know when to play black notes. This is called a sharp sign. This sign means that you have to play half a step up. What does half a step mean? It is the key that is right next to a key. So here, we go from the white C note up to a C sharp. Remember, up means going to the right or higher on a piano. This is a flat sign. It tells us to go to the next black note down, a half a step down. So if we see this note, we don't play the white B note, but the black note half a step down from the B. We call it B flat. What is this note? Right, it's a G sharp. And this one? This is an A flat. Now, there is one more symbol you'll want to know for note reading, the natural sign. This tells you that a note that was sharp or flat is now played as the normal note again, like so. Okay, let's review. Which landmark notes are these? C's. Do you remember these landmark notes? Right, they are all F notes. And these? These are our 4 G notes. Here is a chord. It starts on B, then skips up a third to D, then up a fourth to G. This chord is 2/3 stacked on top of each other. C, E, G. Last but not least, do you remember the names and meanings of these special symbols? This is a sharp, and it tells you to play the note a half step higher. So, instead of playing a D, you play a D sharp. Here is a flat sign. It makes this A an A flat. So, you play the note a half a step below the A. If we then have an A with a natural sign in front of it, we play the normal A again. Phew! We have learned an awful lot about note reading, and now it's time to practice with our online games and quizzes. And remember to always be musical. Musical.